guys, Michael J. Crawford, the Anti-Trekker here, and today we're covering Season 1, Episode 2, The Naked Now. First of all, let me say this. I know that some of you may object because technically The Naked Now is the third episode after Encounter at Farpoint and Encounter at Farpoint Part 2. While this was the original production schedule for the show, Paramount Plus, the streaming site which is the official home of all things Star Trek, lists this episode as Episode 2. So I'm going to stick with that for right now. Now, in fairness, they also do list Episode 5 as being where no one have gone before, but whatever. Our episode starts with the Enterprise en route to investigate the loss of communications with the Tchaikovsky. Upon arrival, they get a rather strange message.
We're going to have a real blowout here.
Do it! Yeah, go ahead! Woo! Do it! Yeah.
Can I just say that's not how drunken parties work? Look, I get it that somebody might do something crazy that could actually cause the death of everybody on the ship, such as someone messing with the environmental controls, or even someone blowing out the hatch, as we hear in this scene. What I find unbelievable is that the rest of the crew would be standing around knowing what he's doing based on the context of the dialogue from that transmission where the one person is yelling, "Yeah, go ahead, do it." So they know what's about to happen. They know they are all about to die, and they are cheering this person on. You can be so drunk that if you feel suicidal, you would actually go through with it. You would never be so drunk that if you were not suicidal, you would cheer on somebody killing you.
They were all sucked out into space.
Correction, sir. That's blown out.
This is actually one of my least favorite lines ever spoken by Data in the entire run of Star Trek The Next Generation. This is a textbook example of what is called a distinction without a difference. For something to be sucked out into space, as Riker suggests, means that a extreme low pressure environment pulled something out of a higher pressure environment. However, for something to be blown out into space, as Data corrects him, means to be pushed out by a high-pressure environment into a low-pressure environment. In other words, the two terms mean the exact same thing. It's just a matter of what perspective you are writing it from. And so it's a completely pointless correction. Both statements are equally accurate.
All right, let's bring the away team back. Set the transporter to maximum decontamination.
I just have one question about that line. When would you ever set the transporter to minimum decontamination? So in the original episode, The Naked Time, the idea of this disease was to kind of unveil hidden character traits for all of our main cast. And it was a kind of an effective way to show Kirk's underlying self-doubt, Spock's emotional insecurity, etc. And in this episode, we start out with a little bit of that by seeing how Wesley is always trying to figure out, hey, he's so darn smart, why doesn't anybody give him a chance? And Geordi longing for normal vision, which, I can't stand looking at those eyes. The problem is it kind of ends there, and everybody else is just freaking horny for some reason.
SS Tsiolkovsky, repeat your message.
Well, hello, Enterprise. Welcome. I hope you have a lot of pretty boys on board, because I'm willing and waiting.
Would you rather be alone with me? With me in your mind?
Right now, I find you extremely. Of course, we haven't time for that sort of thing. You are fully functional, aren't you?
Of course, but...
How fully?
in every way, of course.
Beverly.
There was a young lady from Venus whose body was shaped like a... Captain to security, come in!
So Riker, during all this, thinks that he's heard something about this happening before, and so he asks Data to research and find out exactly when that was. And just like in Encounter at Farpoint, Data, of course, has the ability to wirelessly interface with the computer and pull any information he needs.
Record search data. Results of detaching saucer section at high warp velocity.
Inadvisable at any warp speed, sir.
Search theoretical.
It is possible.
But he forgot about that, so he searches the old-fashioned way, taking several hours.
Constitution-class Starship Enterprise, Captain James T. Kirk, commanding. It seems our security chief has the equivalent of a snootful.
Inquiry, sir. Snootful?
Oh, and look, Wesley took over the ship with relative ease.
Effective immediately, I have handed over control of this vessel to Acting Captain Wesley Crusher.
And you know, it just wouldn't be an episode of Star Trek The Next Generation if they didn't talk about the great utopian society in which they live.
5 years old, but I survived. I learned how to stay alive, how to avoid the rape gangs.
Well, Data, for reasons, is affected by a human infection. Why not? And Troy gives us some great information.
All I sense from him is confusion. If I didn't know better, I'd say he was intoxicated.
Well, in the end, there's a ticking clock as a big chunk of star matter is heading towards the Enterprise, and thanks to Wesley being able to shave weeks off of planning, they managed to save the day, except Sulu was able to do that in about 10 seconds.
Why not reverse fields on this, ma'am? If we just need an extra minute?
It would take weeks of laying out new circuits.
Repulsor beam hard against Silkovsky.
Mr. Sulu, our forward tractor beams adjust to repel. Aye, sir. Standing by. Activate.
Data. I'm only going to tell you this just once. It never happened.
Exactly what I tell myself whenever I watch this episode.